Inappropriate comments, jokes, or questions in the workplace. It's something we are all guilty of, and so it's something almost no one feels comfortable talking about. And if we hear someone else do it, well, who wants to be the person who makes a big deal out of something like a comment that the person didn't intend to be harmful, or a harmless joke? But don't be fooled. We all have subjective bias, and those biases, they come out in these seemingly innocent statements. The problem occurs when someone in a position of power to impact hiring or advancement does nothing to counteract their subjective bias. Because at this point, the unchecked bias can become unchecked discrimination. So if you're an employee and your boss has made inappropriate comments, jokes, or questions, press the follow button, as we'll be covering examples of each, including what it looks like in the workplace and how it can develop into discrimination. And if this is the first video you're seeing from us, visit our page for the full series on the early signs of workplace discrimination. The comment wasn't meant to offend. Maybe it was even intended as a compliment. So is it really worth documenting? It is, and in this video, we'll share why. Let's say you have an invisible disability, something like lupus, not visible to others, but it does impact your daily life. When you tell your boss, they are shocked, exclaiming, "You are such a hard worker. I had no idea." But others have made comments like this, so you just brush it off. But then a week later, your workload is reduced, and that key assignment your boss promised you is now assigned to a teammate. When you ask why, your boss says they know stress is a trigger for lupus, and they're just trying to help you out. And 9 months later, these helpful changes that you never asked for, they're cause to deny your promotion. And without documentation, you really can't pinpoint when did the discrimination start and how did you get here. And that is why it is so important to document even these subtle comments, because that is often how discrimination starts. So document it even when it seems minor. Can questions be an early warning sign of workplace discrimination? They can. For example, a boss asks a mother-to-be, "We need to adjust your schedule when you return?" Or, "Have you thought about stepping down to focus on motherhood with less stress?" And at first the woman thought her boss just cared. But as she's asked again and again, the woman wonders why she keeps bringing it up, especially after learning this didn't happen when her coworker went on paternity leave. But the woman doesn't want to jump to conclusions, so she just continues to answer that she has a plan in place and lets it go. But then, just before she comes back to work, she learns she is being moved to a reduced responsibility role. She is told that it's just what the business needs, but she's surprised because she's the only one selected for the change. And it is only then that she realizes maybe she should have been more concerned about those seemingly innocent questions that kept getting asked before she went on leave. Even in the workplace, nobody wants to be the overly sensitive person who complains about the jokes everyone else finds funny. That person is disliked even when their concerns are valid because the jokes normalize negative perceptions of certain groups. So when the young director makes jokes about the most senior employee on the team, no one does anything but laugh after the boss says things like, "You can't teach an old dog new tricks. It just must be the Alzheimer's kicking back in." Or, "When are you retiring? You've been here forever." Of course, they all assure the employee they don't actually think he has Alzheimer's or should retire. But over the next several months, the boss passes over this man for the most complex projects, and he realizes no one comes to him for help anymore. Eventually, the man is put on a performance improvement plan for not delivering, but he struggles to pinpoint when and how the decline began. And then he realizes the joke said openly set the tone that evolved into the discrimination that now threatens his career. How would you behave differently if you knew the first inappropriate question, comment, or joke was also the first sign of discrimination to come? In modern day workplace discrimination, the timeline is often filled with subtle, nuanced incidents that are easy to dismiss individually, but add up to reveal a pattern of discrimination. I know it can feel overwhelming, a waste of time, potentially pointless, to document each and every comment, question, or joke that is made. But it is much easier to do it as it occurs than it is to trace back what happened months or even years later. Remember, if you experience discrimination, it is only you who can protect your career. But if you need help getting started, Just Proof guides you through, step by step, helping you build a discrimination timeline in a way that compels HR to act, or when necessary, helps you get the legal support you need.